All right, folks, welcome to the kickoff call of the second cohort of Read30 X30. And super glad to see faces old and new this time. Uh, we'll quickly start with giving an overview of the program, and then we can go around the room and just hear from everyone. So, okay, let me just let one more person in. All right. So how this all started was we have been running a reading community for a long time now, and based on the feedback from the sessions of of those community that we used to do weekly, one or two events we used to do. Based on that, we have sort of come up with the structure of a monthly reading challenge, and I think you must have all seen the channels already. There's an introduction channel where if you have not put your introduction yet, just share it there. And then there are some onboarding activities which are designed for you to the uh, hit the day running. Like when just reading, you just start reading when your other constraints are in place. The constraints, I'll quickly walk through the activities as well in case you have not done them. Starting with the calendar invite, we have the link of the calendar in the first message. We just have 3 live calls this time. This is a difference with respect to the last cohort. Last cohort we had 5, and then we realized nobody has time to attend 5 live calls, so we reduced it to 3 this time. We have one today, we have one on 15th, and then we'll have a celebration call on the 30th, last day of the month. Links to the calls you can find in the calendar link in the announcement channel. And the second optional activity is just add a books emoji at the end of any social media platform that you use frequently. This is so that we have seen this, that whenever you see that, it just acts as a nice little reminder that you are part of this challenge, and that's what we are all here for, right? We want to get into the habit of reading such that it becomes natural, or it becomes a part of our daily lives. So that is an optional one, but highly recommended. Post an intro about yourself in the introduction channel. I think most of you already done it. Uh, and then the next one is something which I
Sorry,
feel
did
is
I
more.
call back?
Okay.
Sorry, Swapnil, go ahead.
No worries. All right. Achut says add a really short link to our social bios. Uh, all right. We're working on, Verb is working on a social profile, which will give you something like the domain slash user slash your name, where you can find all your, it's like a reader profile. So yeah, we're working on that. We don't have a timeline for that yet, but yeah, hopefully we'll release it very soon. Yeah. So that is about that. Let me quickly walk to the other one. Yeah, the second activity is, I feel personally that is the main thing. If you have done this, it's very likely that you will read a lot. If you don't do this, if you skip it, it's very likely that it will not happen. And that activity is finding your sacred hours, and actually blocking them on your calendar, or like putting it somewhere so that you are doing the same, you're doing reading the same day every day, and that is like a much easier habit to build than doing it randomly. And to find that, it's suggested to find an intersection of these 2 hours, which is, one is when you are most productive. Are you more productive in early morning, or before lunch, after lunch, in the evening, or just before bedtime? What is the time that you're most productive? And what's the time that you don't need to respond as much to? It could be to your work or your family members. Like, what's the time when you're least required by the people, so that there are less external distractions? So intersection of them is what your sacred hours would be. So for example, I keep it as 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and I've blocked my calendar as well, so that no other meeting can happen at that time. And Google Calendar also sends you a reminder 10 minutes, 30 minutes before it. So yeah, that's just like it's just easier to do it at the same time. And it's also recommended that you do it at the same place. It's just again removing friction, removing decisions at the time whenever you're starting reading. So that is the second activity, which is just write down the constraints where when and where you're going to read, and be as specific as possible. Instead of saying I'm going to start reading every day, just add your constraints. It could be, hey, I'm going to read every day for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. while sitting at my living room table. So this is a very concrete, actionable thing to do. And yeah, like I can personally say, if you do this, then it's very likely that you will read a lot in the cohort as well. And once you have done this, do share it in the general channel, and feel free to add the event on the calendar as well. If you feel social accountability works for you, do to tweet it out or share it on any social platforms as well. It's just so that you're more likely to uphold to that promise once you have put it out publicly. So that's there. And the moving on to the next activity, which is what's the book that you plan to read this month. In case you need suggestions, just drop a message in the general channel, and uh, if you have already picked it, then just share the book name that you have picked it. Again, removing constraints so that when you start reading, you have the things ready to just pick up and read. Uh, Related to that is the next activity, which is pick a backup book in case you don't feel like reading the main one. And it's recommended that you keep the book as simple as possible. Many times what happens is we associate reading with productivity, or like, we'll read something that will help us in our work, or will like it's a self growth area may any book. And the thing with that is it might be not uh, it might not tempt you to pick it up every day. And what we're here to do is we want to read daily. So having a backup book will really help on those days where you don't feel like reading, you're feeling a bit tired. So picking something like a children's book, or something maybe which you have already read before and you liked it, I think is keeping that as a backup book would really help on the days when you're not feeling like reading. So like reading anything on those days is a win, because anyway the main book you already decided not to read on that particular day. So a backup book would help there. And again, if you need suggestions, we recommend either Beedle the Bard from Harry Potter, or Little Prince, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. These are the few that we recommend. If you need more, just drop a message in the journal channel and we'll get to more. And maybe I'll share one more backup book in the chat itself. Give me a second. Yeah, if you don't have a backup book, you can just pick up this as your backup book. It's a good book. It's a collection of 40 short stories, and all the short stories are like super easy to read. It's just 1 or 2 pages each, 2 or 3 pages each. And if you don't have a backup book yet, just use this as your backup book for now, and feel free to change it anytime during the cohort. All right, we have a suggestion. The Brain by him is also pretty good. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, yeah, I think those are pretty good picks. And moving on to the final onboarding activity, which is we have a channel called Dailies on Discord. I see most of you have created it already, but yeah, I think that is the core thing that you want to do daily, which is just come to your thread and post something. It could be, if you're reading a physical thing, you can just take a picture of that, or if you're reading digitally, just copy one line, one paragraph, anything that you like from that book, and just paste it there. Just write day number, let's say it could be day 1, day 2, the book name, and just the passage from that book. And for today, you can just use the book. You can use the egg, or you can use the book which I just shared here. And I think what will happen after a few days is since everyone will be picking different books, so it's likely that you will resonate more with 2 or 3 books from particular people, and like those are the ones that will come back and just read what they are reading. And yeah, that is what we saw in the last part happening, that you'll not probably read all of the excerpts by everyone, but you'll pick 2 or 3 people which will be following the cohort, and those sort of become like your gym buddies. You sort of cheer from them with the reactions or any messages in their threads. So that is about it for the structure. um, any questions regarding this?
Just one thing I wanted to know, like, just curious, like, how do you like mark paragraphs while you are reading fiction? Like, when I'm reading fiction, I usually don't keep a pencil with me. So,
You don't need to like mark. It's just you can take a picture of it, and you can just say, hey, this is something that I liked. uh, and you don't need to justify it why you liked it, because I think, especially in case of fiction, whatever you read, it can be interpreted as 10 different things by different people.
yeah.
So it's just mostly about, hey, you liked it, and you don't need to explain it why you liked it. You can just if you want to highlight with a pencil or a pen or a highlighter, that's up to you, but you don't need to highlight. You can just take the picture of the entire page or some section of the page. You don't need to highlight, basically. You can just share the picture directly. All right. Cool. So now let's get to know each other. Let's go around the room, and let's do a quick round of intros. Of course, I know most of you have put the introductions already, but putting a face to a name and the text intro is always fun. So we'll go around the room, just give a quick introduction about your reading journey so far. If you have picked a book already, talk about that pick. Why did you pick that book? And your motivation to join this cohort. I think that's something we can go around the room with. All right, who wants to go first?
I can go on.
All right.
So, hi, Paras here. I am a techie by profession, from Mumbai, and let's say my reading journey. Though I've read a lot of books during my college days, but in the recent times I've not read the book because my attention span has gone way down. Even if I still buy a lot of books, but don't tend to complete them, and hence the reason for getting into a cohort as well. So hopefully this will push me to at least complete a book for sure. So that's the struggle which I'm facing, and maybe I'm finding a solution in this cohort. And the book I'm buying, let's say I'm reading, is one is Jerry Pinto's M and the Big Whom. That's a short book, so I'm expecting that to be let's say completed. And my backup book is a non-fiction book called Lighter. Uh, it's it's a non, let's say, it's kind of a self-help book, but I like what he writes on Instagram and stuff as well. So I've bought his book and I've intend to read it. It's recently published, guys. So yeah, that's about it from myself.
You're
Okay,
on mute,
yeah.
Swapna.
All right, yeah. It's interesting that your backup book is a non-fiction. I've mostly seen that people pick fiction as their backup books because it's something you don't need, like in case you're out of energy at the end of the day, you can just pick it up. You don't need to think much, and just read a story and go.
No, so the intention earlier was to keep the fiction one as the main book and non-fiction. Let's say, sorry, non-fiction book as the main book and the fiction one as the backup. But I realized, let me make it fun, a little bit more fun. So I switched it just on the call as well.
Okay. This is like proper spontaneous. All right, cool. Who do you want to tag? Who should go next?
Wahab.
Hey everyone, I'm Wahab. I'm based out of Mumbai and I am a developer by profession. So uh, I was also part of T1. I'm also a part of the core team behind this cohort. And yeah, so the last one in terms of reading, I haven't been consistent because it was a very happening month for me. A lot happened and I couldn't pick up reading continuously. So my goal for this cohort is to actually read all 30 days and also post an excerpt. I haven't decided on the book yet. I have a few books. I'll probably by the end of tonight, I'll decide on the book. My in terms of reading, I haven't been an active reader since my school days. So I was an avid reader during school days because we used to get a book from the library and mostly those were children books. So we would read those on a daily basis. So after that, I have been like on and off in terms of reading continuously. In the past, like 3 months ago, I started like my own version of Read30 and I could read on for around 45 days continuously, and it was on the digital mode, so it was actually easy for me to pick up the phone and read. But then for the past month, I picked up a physical book and I realized that I wasn't as consistent, which is what I'm trying to improve for this cohort. And I like detective books a lot. That's one genre, mystery, that I really like a lot. So probably that will be my main book or my backup book for this cohort as well. Yeah, that's a little about me.
All right.
So
Who do you
I'll
want to
tag
tag?
someone. I'll tag Mohib.
Hi everyone, my name is Mohib. Currently, I'm living in Bangalore. I'm a front-end developer. I started reading after my college, and I had read around 60 books. I was part of Read30, and since coming to Bangalore, I haven't been able to join or read a single book. I would like to fix that. So the motive of joining this cohort is to read at least one book this month, and I have picked up The Silent Patient. It's a thriller. I love thriller. And as a backup book, I have kept A Thousand Splendid Suns. I have read it in the past a few years ago. So it is as a backup. Yeah, that's it. I would like to tag Ankita.
Hello people. So this is Ankita and I'm originally from Kolkata but currently in Bangalore. And yeah, this is also my second cohort. And I also happen to be a part of the team behind Read30 30x30. Why I am doing this despite being a regular reader all my life is currently I'm in the transition phase of my life where I'm switching jobs, switching cities, and I just thought I might do this to not miss out on the habit that I have built all through the years. And actually this helped a lot because every night I was supposed to post the excerpts and uh, mark the leaderboard, and that is when I would pick up the book and read. So that accountability really helped. And for this month, I'll be completing some 40 Tales of Afterlives. That is a book I picked up in one of the Read30 sessions itself the past month, and I still have around 40% of it left. So first I'll complete that. And then the book I picked up this month is Converted, the data-driven way to win customers' heart. Proper non-fiction, not self-help, but work help kind of book. And my backup book is basically a collection of Agatha Christie short stories. So whenever I don't feel like, I can just pick up and read whatever I want without needing to use my brain a lot. So yeah, those are my picks, and I'm excited to do this again. And I think I'll tag Lakshya.
Hey folks, I'm Lakshya. I work as a security engineer in Gurgaon. I live in Delhi, and my reading started in college, right? So I started picking up the typical self-help books while and started reading them while commuting, right? Because can't really do much while sitting on a metro. And after that, after college, the reading habit had mostly gone away. There's a lot of books that I buy, right, but never end up picking them because I like them. Uh, yeah, so the goal with this is to go back and start reading books again. I actually haven't picked up my book yet, but I like after this call I plan on sitting in front of my bookshelf and look at all the books that I bought and pick pick one pick one of them. Yeah, that's about that's about it. And I will tag Rajat.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Rajat. I currently work as a front-end engineer at an academy. So I've been reading on and off since, I guess, middle school days. Of late, I have not read much, at least physical books I have not touched much. I've been reading newsletter and blog posts and those sort of things. So my goal with this cohort is to, read more physical books, spend some time offline, off screen. So yeah, that is the plan. And I have picked The Tiger by John Fellant. I think I'm not sure if I'm spelling his name correctly. He's a French author. So the reason I picked this book was this was recommended to me by one of my friend who's a very avid reader, and I really liked the summary and the reviews, especially the language of this book, The Tiger, and that is why I have picked it. And one more reason was that I was looking to read something non-fiction because most of the physical books I've read are usually non-fiction. So I've been trying to get into fiction. Ironically, this book is not exactly fiction, it's narrative non-fiction to be pedantic, but it's a start. And as a backup or secondary book, I have picked Digital Minimalism. So this is a book by Carl Newport. I have actually read this book as an ebook before. I am rereading it because I'm clearly not applying the lessons of this book in my life. So I wish to apply the lessons of digital minimalism. So yeah, that is my secondary pick. And like I was curious, like most of the people here have a fiction as a secondary book. I chose a non-fiction because I thought that for non-fiction you don't really have to, sit through the book to have some sort of feeling or like go through something. Like for non-fiction, you can just go through 2-3 pages and then you're like, okay, I got some idea out of it. So that's the reason I picked it as a secondary. Uh, that's about it from me. Like looking forward to knowing everyone. I really want to have some friends who read regularly so that I can discuss books with them. Yeah, so I'll be tagging. I think I think Achyut is left. Yeah, hi Achyut.
Okay, thanks, Ajit. Excited to join this, folks. I was sort of fluttering in and out of reading. I actually read like, I don't know how, but in my 12, whatever, 12, 14 years of schooling, I just read 2 book series very randomly, but I finished them in quick spurts. I remember The Inheritance Cycle and this Percy Jackson, while it was still a series and not like 5, 6 separate meta series. But I'd done that back in like grade 8, 9, I think. And then for some reason I stopped reading. And last year I could manage like 3, 4 books. This year, thanks to a lot of pushes and encouragement, rather not pushes, by Swapnil and the Read30 before it became Read30 by 30, I've read 8 books. I'm almost done with like 3 more. I don't know why I just like left like last 20-30 pages of all the 2-3 books. But yeah. So the reason I want to pursue this is because I think I can, it's safe to say that I like reading. It's just that I become lazy. Like if there are some books which are interesting, then I'll read them in like a week. If some books aren't interesting, then I mean, if I'm not comfortable doing it, then I'll sort of laze around, procrastinate, right? For most, like most things in life. So I think I want to make myself more accountable. I even stuck the payment for Read30 330 by 30. I stuck a printout of that invoice on my whiteboard. Like as soon as I wake up, I can see it. I'm like, paise kharch ho gaye, ab kaam karo types. So I want to just do that so that it becomes a lifestyle, not a habit. And in addition to that, okay, so the book I'm reading this time, it's called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. It's a poem. I mean, it's actually a series of letters written by a son to his mother, and except he's imagining and conveying, like he's conveying all these thoughts to her, and she actually can't read, and he's doing this retrospectively. The theme is that it's they're juxtaposing. He's juxtaposing his time in present day United States with the growing up of his mother and his grandmother in erstwhile Vietnam, in the midst of the US-Vietnam War. So it's sort of like, it's emotionally heavy, maybe even traumatic, I don't know. But the reason I picked this book up is because the way it's, the setting of the book is interesting. And I wanted to test, like, I cry very easily in movies. I wanted to see what my experience with books would be. So by the way, I'm like done with say 2-3 chapters, and my eyes did tear up a little bit. So it's interesting. My backup book, I haven't decided on a backup book. I have a few which I think I'll go to. But yeah, super excited to be in this journey with all of you. And there have been lots of interesting book suggestions which people have mentioned. I've noted a few down also. My to-read list is expanding significantly faster than what my reading list is. But yeah, excited. I'm sorry. Is Mohib left, or Mohib, are you done? Oh, I'm sorry. Then yeah, I'm not sure if anyone's left. Swapnil, you don't go, right? Oh, Parth's left. Sorry. Yeah. Parth, on to you.
Parth, are you going to type it in the chat? All right. Yeah, I think Parth had mentioned while signing up. Cool. So I'll just read out Parth's. Let me see if Parth is already. All right. I see Parth's introduction. I'll quickly read it out. Hello, everyone. I'm Parth. I'm from Delhi, NCR. I started my reading journey when I was 16 years old. That's when my aunt gifted me a book titled as Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. It was an interesting book. Then I started reading random books such as Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, and other books. Unfortunately, now I lost interest in reading these days due to some circumstances. Now that's the reason I joined Reading Challenge, to get back into reading habit and hope to gain some knowledge from books. I still have not discovered any genres which I like the most. It's fine. Eventually, I'll definitely find out which genres I like the most. That's all. Looking forward to getting to know everyone in the Discord server. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, I think discovering genres is the key, right? It's very dependent on a personal level as well as the phase you're going through. Yeah. Recently, I've been liking non-fiction books which are written in like fiction style with like stories and dialogues. So yeah, cool.
I'll quickly share my journey as well. So yeah, I think uh, main reason of joining and running this second one is like Ankita, I'm also changing. I've just recently changed cities, and my entire schedule is now it's messed up. And I can see like the last 7 days I did not get much reading done. So just to have that sort of like an accountability to get back on track, that is why I'm here. And from a genre perspective, I think uh, I want to read more fiction, but yeah, at the same time, I tried some. I tried shooting for a bunch of fiction books last month, but yeah, I realized that some books was not really liking that much. I I was not looking forward to reading them basically. So yeah, I thought, okay, let's pick something which I really like. So uh, the main book that I picked this for this month is it's a book on improv. Um, I haven't explored that yet, and I found it very curious to like. It's like for actors how to be spontaneous and stuff. So looking forward excitedly to. I think I just got it a few days back, so I'll start that. And as for the backup book, it's a sci-fi book called Upgrade by Blake Crouch, one of my favorite authors. So I know that since I like the reading, the writing style already, so yeah, I know. Um, well, I'll be looking forward to it as a backup. So yeah, that's about it. Cool. Uh, what else? Angita, do we go to breakout rooms now?
Yeah, I think we can easily have a 15-minute breakout session.
Got it. So all right, yeah. So basically, we're going to go into breakout rooms now, and it's just uses as an opportunity to learn more about the other person. And let's do a prompt, right? Let's have a prompt that you have to sell the book that you have picked to the other person. So you can include things like how did you find that book, and what is the one thing that you're looking forward to it the most. Basically, yeah, your success metric coming out of the breakout room is the other person should have like at least opened the Goodreads page or the Amazon page of that book. And yeah, I think use that as a starting point, and then wherever it goes, you can take it from there. Let me.
So, sorry, stop for a quick question. Do you want us to try to sell the book we are going to read? Because
Yes. So it's like
okay.
why you have picked. So that's the fun part, right? You also don't know, but you have already picked
Got it.
for some reason. So what is that reason? It could, I don't know. Should be fun. If it doesn't work out,
Sure,
we can
yeah.
go to some book which you have read before. But yeah. All right. Let me open the rooms. All right. See you in 15 minutes. You can go like take 5 minutes each. And yeah, see you. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
We
So-
were punctual and came back on time.
Yeah.
So how was it?
Yeah, it was great. We discussed, like, I don't have a book yet.
So we
So-
were trying to sell our picks to Wahab.
Yeah.
And which one was the winner?
Ankita was the current winner. Then after that, I'll pick up Mohib.
Okay, interesting.
But then I might end up choosing another book. So, that's correction as well.
No,
I'm sorry, Paras.
no. I was saying even I got converted by Ankita's let's say push about converted and just googling it out as well right now.
I'll share the link. I'll share the Amazon link.
Yeah.
Awesome. How was the other room? Did anyone convince anyone?
I think Achieve got dropped off for some reason.
Yeah.
I think
He
Ajay,
was,
he did achieve a success metric because I was on the Goodread page of the book. At
yeah,
least that.
I was able to convince Achieve as well. So he said that he is sold off on.
Which is your book? Can you drop the link in the chat?
Yeah. So let
Ankita's
me convince you all also.
Okay.
I mean, just like read the the summary or even any review, like just the excerpt of this book. Like you will see that how beautifully the author writes. It's not just that he is using some fancy words, right? He's like the choice of word. Like you think about like how did he think of using that adjective in that sentence? So I have read like the first chapter, and even in that I saw like wow, like this is a one way of describing a character or what. So I was reading and like I was able to imagine the whatever he was describing. So things were very good. Sorry, I jumped on to the praises. I did not tell the how what the book is actually about. So it's essentially about tiger killing manhunting by tigers in the Siberian region of Russia. So a lot of people are being killed by tigers in that place, and also uh, tigers are also being killed by poachers and smugglers. So it's a complicated relationship, and in that investigation team by government is sent so that they look into it, like what the hell is happening, like how why are so many people being killed or where are the tigers. So it's about that. Can definitely check it out. Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Anyone else who managed to sell their picks?
Not really.
Okay,
It was hard, at least for me, because I don't have a primary book yet. So couldn't really sell people on it.
All right, we have a pitch in the chat. On Earth, we are briefly gorgeous. A boy growing up in USA writes letters to his mother who cannot read. He lives in a family of 3 with his mother and grandmother. They are actually refugees from Vietnam who had escaped the brutality. Is this like a copy paste from Goodreads? मेरे को लगा कि- I-
Wait,
No,
this
no, he
sounds really good.
actually wrote it in our in our
wow,
breakout room. Yeah.
interesting. It did not feel like this felt very
Yeah.
well
Hey.
articulated.
And
Grammatically-
proper punctuation.
Yeah.
yeah, hyphens हैं, commas हैं,
हाँ ना।
capitalization है.
बस
Brackets
बस
है.
italicized और
इस्तेमाल
कर
किया, शिफ्ट और कैप्स लॉक का भी इस्तेमाल किया गया है,
बिल्कुल.
काफी एफर्टफुल.
Yeah, italics वगैरह Zoom support नहीं करता, but I'm pretty sure. All right. This book is going to make you feel, reflect, and go through your own emotions using words as a mirror. All right. Cool. I think I'm also sort of curious. I just noticed 3 punctuation errors. Cool. ठीक है. All right. So we are at the end of today's call. I want to extend because I want you to continue showing up in the next 2 calls as well. So we'll stop at the designated time. Good thing about like having this kickoff call is just putting faces to the names and to the DPs, to the just texts that we are going to be putting out in Discord. The main thing, as everyone knows, the main thing is showing up every day and reading and posting a proof of reading, sort of. And yeah, any reflections you might have be having while on a day-to-day basis, feel free to use general channel to share anything. And yeah, that's about it. I'll not extend it now. I'll just stop it here and hope to see you in the mid-month, like we'll do a mid-month check-in call. Yeah, right. That's about it, folks. I will all the best for your reading journeys, and let's rock it. Chalo, bye bye.